Imagine waking up every day with a clear vision, knowing exactly what matters, owning your actions, and turning every hardship into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. This isn't just some lofty ideal. It's the radical mindset shift Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, lived by, and his wisdom can transform your life today. In this journey, you'll discover how embracing challenges is not a curse, but a powerful chance to grow stronger and wiser. You'll learn to cut through the noise of an automatic, distracted life and focus on what truly feeds your soul. Marco's teachings push you to shed the chains of anxiety and the desperate hunger for approval, unlocking a peace that comes from within, rooted in discipline and self-responsibility. But it doesn't stop there. Every difficult person, every uncomfortable encounter reveals itself as a secret training ground for your inner fortress. You'll walk through the Stoic pillars of accepting what's beyond your control, gracefully adapting to life's unpredictability, while steering your mind toward gratitude and simplicity as shields against dissatisfaction. This isn't just philosophy. It's a call to radically realign your life with purpose, authenticity, and a fearless embrace of life's fleeting nature. By the end, you won't just see the world differently. You'll see yourself differently, ready to own your story with clarity, courage, and calm resolve. Are you ready to change your vision of life forever? 9 lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will change your vision of life. 1. Embrace challenges as paths to growth. 2. Live purposefully, not automatically. 3. Cultivate discipline and personal responsibility. 4. Break free from anxiety and external approval. 5. Turn difficult people into personal trainers. 6. Accept what you cannot control. 7. Adapt and flow with life's circumstances. 8. Choose your thoughts to shape your happiness. 9. Practice gratitude and simplicity to find inner peace. If this is making sense to you so far, like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this. It's a simple act that helps spread these transformative ideas. Now let's continue our journey through Marcus Aurelius's profound wisdom, illuminating how these ancient insights can radically realign your life with purpose, authenticity, and a fearless embrace of life's fleeting nature. 2. Live purposefully, not automatically. The Stoics, and Marcus Aurelius among them, understood that a life lived without intention is merely a life endured. They urged us to live in accordance with nature, which for humans means living rationally, with purpose. Marcus constantly reminded himself to act with deliberation, not as if sleepwalking through his days. Think about the autopilot trap that ensnares so many of us in the modern world. We scroll endlessly, consume mindlessly, react impulsively, and let external forces dictate our every moment. How many of us truly choose how we spend our hours, our attention, our energy? Or do we simply react to notifications, emails, social media feeds, and the ever-present expectations of others? When we live automatically, we relinquish control over these finite and precious resources, allowing them to be drained by trivialities and distractions. Marcus recognized that true freedom comes not from having infinite choices, but from making deliberate choices about how we engage with the world. He urged himself, and by extension, us, to constantly consider, what is my purpose here? Is this action serving my highest values? This isn't about achieving grand external goals, as much as it is about the quality of our engagement with life itself, bringing conscious awareness to the mundane, elevating the ordinary through the power of our attention and intention. Consider your work. Are you merely punching the clock, Or are you bringing intention to your tasks, understanding their larger purpose, even if small? Are you designing your career path or just drifting wherever the current takes you? In your relationships, are your interactions truly present and meaningful? Or are you half listening, distracted by your phone, or merely going through the motions? Living purposefully means investing consciously in the connections that matter, giving them your full, undivided attention. Even in leisure, is your free time genuinely rejuvenating and enriching, or is it a default mode of passive consumption that leaves you feeling more drained than refreshed? Purposeful leisure might involve reading, learning, thoughtful conversation, or a hobby that invigorates your spirit. Marcus Aurelius saw our life as a series of actions, each a brushstroke on the canvas of our existence. If we paint mindlessly, without a vision, the result will be chaotic. But if each stroke is intentional, guided by our inner compass, our life becomes a masterpiece of our own making. To begin breaking free from automaticity, pick one daily activity you usually do on autopilot. Perhaps your morning routine or eating a meal. For just one day, bring your full, undivided attention to it. Notice the sensations, the thoughts, the environment. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is there a more intentional way? This simple act is the first step in reclaiming your hours and your life. 3. Cultivate discipline and personal responsibility. For Marcus and the Stoics, self-mastery was paramount. Discipline wasn't about punishment. It was about training oneself to act in accordance with reason and virtue, taking full ownership of one's character and choices. We live in an era that often encourages us to externalize problems and seek quick fixes. It's easy to point fingers at the economy, at our parents, at our boss, at society, at our circumstances, when things don't go our way. But Stoicism offers a radical counter-narrative. While you cannot control external events, you are 100% responsible for your response to them. This isn't about blaming yourself for things outside your control. It's about empowering yourself by recognizing that your inner world, your judgments, your reactions, your character, is entirely within your domain. Discipline, in this context, is the consistent effort to align your actions with your values, even when it's difficult, uncomfortable, or unpopular. It's the strength to choose the harder right over the easier wrong, not out of rigid adherence to rules, but out of a deep commitment to the kind of person you aspire to be. Consider your health and wellness. It's easy to blame a lack of time or genetics for poor health. Personal responsibility means acknowledging that while external factors exist, you are accountable for the choices you make about diet, exercise, and sleep. Discipline means consistently making those choices even when motivation wanes, because you understand their long-term impact. In your career, when a project fails or a promotion doesn't come through, it's tempting to externalize the cause. Personal responsibility asks, what could I have done differently? What skills do I need to develop? How can I prepare better next time? Discipline is then applied to the consistent effort required to acquire those skills and learn from failures. Even financially, living beyond one's means often stems from a lack of discipline and an unwillingness to take responsibility for prudent decisions. Marcus would argue that true freedom isn't found in limitless spending, but in the self-control that allows you to manage your resources wisely, reducing anxiety. Marcus knew that a leader must first lead themselves. He understood that every indulgence, every procrastination, every excuse erodes our inner strength. Conversely, every act of self-discipline, however small, reinforces our character, building the psychological muscle needed to face life's greater challenges with integrity. This isn't about perfection, but about the consistent effort to improve, to own your choices, and to live up to your own highest standards. Identify one area in your life where you frequently make excuses or defer responsibility. For the next week, commit to taking full ownership of your actions in that area. If you slip, don't wallow. Simply acknowledge it, learn from it, and recommit. This consistent self-correction is the essence of Stoic discipline. 4. Break free from anxiety and external approval. A fundamental Stoic principle is the dichotomy of control, distinguishing between what is within our power and what is not. Anxiety often stems from worrying about things outside our control, and the craving for external approval places our peace of mind entirely in the hands of others. Think about how much mental energy you spend on things utterly beyond your influence. The weather, the opinions of strangers, past events, future uncertainties, other people's choices. Marcus Aurelius understood this drain and repeatedly reminded himself that today I escaped anxiety. Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. This isn't a simplistic dismissal of genuine concerns, but a profound realization that the source of much of our emotional distress lies in our judgments and attachments, not in the external circumstances themselves. When we base our self-worth on external validation, likes, praise, status, possessions, we become slaves to the fickle opinions and fleeting trends of the world. Our peace becomes contingent on something we cannot control, leading to a perpetual state of anxiety, striving, and dissatisfaction. Consider the pervasive pressure of social media performance. The constant need to present a curated, perfect image, to garner likes and comments, to measure one's worth by digital metrics. This is a classic trap of seeking external approval, leading to endless comparison and anxiety about not being good enough. The Stoic response is to focus on living authentically according to your own values, regardless of how it performs online. Likewise, career anxiety about layoffs, colleagues' perceptions, or the next promotion, even when you've done your best, saps your energy. While prudence is wise, excessive anxiety about these external factors prevents you from focusing on what you can control: your effort, your skills, your attitude. A Stoic would focus on doing good work for its own sake, deriving satisfaction from the integrity of their effort. Even in parenting or relationships, obsessing over outcomes or altering your fundamental self to please others betrays your own autonomy. The Stoic path is to act with love, integrity, and wisdom, and then to accept that others' reactions and choices are their own. Marcus Aurelius saw the mind as a fortress. If you leave its gates open for every stray thought, every external opinion, every imagined future catastrophe, you will never find peace. But if you guard the gates, allowing only what is rational, purposeful, and within your control to occupy your inner space, then you become unshakable. He taught that true freedom is found in this inner sovereignty, the ability to remain calm and rational, regardless of external storms, and to derive your sense of worth from your character, not from the applause or criticism of others. For the next week, consciously observe when you feel anxious or crave external validation. When these feelings arise, pause and ask, is this within my control? Am I seeking approval for something that truly aligns with my values, or merely to satisfy an external expectation? Practice redirecting your focus to your intentions, your efforts, and your judgments. Gradually, you'll weaken the chains that bind your peace to the unpredictable world outside. Turn difficult people into personal trainers. Rather than being frustrated or angered by challenging individuals, Marcus Aurelius viewed them as opportunities to practice patience, empathy, and virtue. They are not obstacles, but rather catalysts for your own moral development. Let's be honest, some people are just plain difficult. They might be rude, irrational, demanding, or simply hold viewpoints that clash violently with our own. Our natural inclination is often to react with anger, frustration, or to avoid them altogether. But Marcus Aurelius, facing a court full of ambitious, often treacherous individuals, saw things differently. He understood that these people, far from being nuisances, were actually providing him with invaluable training. They were presenting him with a chance to practice patience when he wanted to snap, empathy when he wanted to judge, self-control when he wanted to retaliate, and resilience when he felt his temper rising. Every difficult interaction becomes a mental dojo, a testing ground for your Stoic principles. Consider the demanding colleague or boss. Instead of succumbing to stress or resentment, view their demands as an opportunity to practice clear communication, set boundaries, and cultivate patience. Can you respond with calm, reasoned dialogue rather than escalating frustration? Can you understand their perspective, even if you disagree, without sacrificing your own integrity? This refines your professional virtues. During heated discussions with an argumentative family member, it's easy to get drawn into emotional spirals. A Stoic approach is to use this as an exercise in detachment from outcomes and attachment to your own virtuous response. Can you listen attentively, express your views respectfully, and then accept that you cannot control their reaction or their beliefs? This trains your capacity for calm endurance. Even online trolls or critics in the digital age can be your training ground for indifference to external opinions, focusing on your own integrity and practicing equanimity in the face of provocation. Marcus wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and unfriendly. They act this way because they can't tell good from evil." This isn't cynicism, it's preparation. He wasn't excusing their behavior, but recognizing its source, ignorance, and preemptively arming himself with the understanding and compassion needed to maintain his own inner peace. By understanding that others act out of what they perceive to be good, even if misguided, we can detach from their actions as personal affronts and instead see them as opportunities to strengthen our own virtues. They become our unwitting personal trainers, pushing us to lift heavier weights of patience and understanding. The next time you encounter a difficult person, pause before reacting. Instead of letting your emotions take over, consciously reframe the situation. This is my chance to practice patience, empathy, self-control. Ask yourself, what virtue can I cultivate here? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my highest self, rather than reacting to their lowest self? This shift in perspective transforms frustrating encounters into powerful lessons. 6. Accept what you cannot control. This is perhaps the most fundamental pillar of Stoicism, encapsulated in the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius constantly distinguished between what is up to us, our judgments, impulses, desires, and actions, and what is not, our body, possessions, reputation, external events, others' actions. We live in a world that often sells us the illusion of control. We're told that with enough effort, enough planning, enough data, we can engineer perfect outcomes. But life, as Marcus Aurelius knew intimately, is far messier than that. Emperors, despite their power, cannot control plague, war, or betrayal. Neither can we control the traffic, the weather, the stock market, or what our boss says tomorrow. The constant struggle against what is inevitable or external creates immense suffering. Marcus taught himself and us to find liberation in acceptance. This isn't passive resignation, but an active, rational choice to differentiate between what you can affect and what you simply cannot. By focusing your energy solely on what is within your power, your thoughts, your efforts, your character, you conserve precious mental and emotional resources that would otherwise be wasted on futile worry and frustration. Consider a job loss or business failure in a volatile economy. Instead of dwelling on the unfairness or the loss of status, external events, a Stoic would immediately shift focus to what is controllable. Their attitude, their resilience, their job search strategy, their skill development, their network. Acceptance of the loss frees up energy to rebuild. Or take health challenges. Illness, aging, and physical limitations are undeniable. While we can influence our health through lifestyle choices, we cannot entirely control disease or the aging process. Obsessing over what's lost only adds mental anguish. Stoic acceptance means focusing on living well with the body you have, finding joy in what is still possible, and approaching treatment with a calm, rational mind, rather than battling against an unchangeable reality. Even the ending of a relationship, while painful, is often driven by factors beyond one's individual control. Acceptance here means acknowledging the reality, processing grief, and then focusing on your own healing and growth, rather than clinging desperately to what is already gone. Marcus frequently used the metaphor of a dog tied to a cart. The dog can either resist the cart, being dragged painfully along, or it can run cheerfully alongside it. Either way, the cart is going where it's going. Life is the cart, and our circumstances are its direction. Our attitude is the dog. The wisdom lies in understanding this dynamic and choosing to flow with life, rather than fighting against its inevitable currents. Do not be vexed by the things of which you are not the master, he wrote. This liberation from futility is not weakness. It is the ultimate expression of strength and psychological freedom, allowing you to direct your finite energy to areas where it can actually make a difference. Pinpoint something currently causing you significant worry or stress. Draw a clear line. What aspects of this situation are genuinely within your control, and what are not? Dedicate your mental and physical energy only to the aspects you can influence. For everything else, practice the mantra of acceptance. This is beyond my control, and I choose to accept it as it is. Repeat this until you feel a subtle shift in your internal state, a letting go of the struggle. Our power lies in our ability to adapt our inner world and our plans to fit the reality of what unfolds. The Stoics saw resistance to change as a source of suffering. Imagine a river. It doesn't fight the boulders in its path. It flows around them, adapting its course. It doesn't lament the changes in terrain. It carves new paths, constantly moving forward. Marcus Aurelius advocated for a similar fluidity in our approach to life. He understood that life is a dynamic process, not a static state. Plans will be derailed, expectations will be unmet, and circumstances will change without warning. The person who insists on things staying the same, or on forcing reality to conform to their desires, will experience perpetual frustration. Adaptation, therefore, isn't a sign of weakness. It's a testament to wisdom and inner strength. It's the ability to reassess, recalibrate, and re-engage with the world not as you wish it were, but as it is, finding new opportunities and pathways even amidst disruption. Consider rapid career changes. The job market is rarely stable. A specific path might become obsolete or an industry transform. Instead of clinging desperately to outdated skills, adaptability means being open to learning new things, pivoting into related fields, or even embracing a completely new vocation. It's about seeing change not as an end, but as a new beginning. In relationship dynamics, people change, and what worked once may not work forever. Rigidity and expectations can lead to conflict. Flowing with circumstances means open communication, compromise, and adapting your interactions to maintain harmony, rather than insisting on a static ideal. Even unexpected setbacks like canceled travel plans or home repairs, though small, reveal our adaptability. Do you explode in anger or calmly assess, find alternatives, and make the best of the new reality? The Stoic opts for the latter, finding equanimity in inconvenience and demonstrating resourceful problem-solving. Marcus often reflected on the impermanence of all things. He knew that clinging to fixed ideas or resisting the natural flux of existence was a recipe for suffering. He emphasized that what hinders action can become action itself, and what stands in the way becomes the way. This profound insight teaches us that obstacles are not merely impediments to overcome. They are often the very material through which we must work, shaping us in the process. The truly adaptable person doesn't just survive change, they thrive on it, finding growth and opportunity where others see only loss and disruption. This is not about being passive, but about intelligent engagement with reality, conserving energy by not fighting battles that cannot be won, and redirecting it to battles that can be. Think about a recent situation where something didn't go according to your plan. How did you react? Did you resist, lament, or adapt? Now, imagine a future scenario where a similar unexpected change occurs. Mentally rehearse how you would respond with flexibility and resilience. Plan not just for the ideal outcome, but also for potential deviations, and prepare your mind to calmly adjust rather than panic or resist. Cultivate a mindset that views unexpected detours not as problems, but as interesting challenges that demand creative solutions. Choose your thoughts to shape your happiness. At the heart of Stoicism is the belief that our emotions are largely a product of our judgments and interpretations, not external events. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that he had the power to control his inner world, and thus his happiness. This is perhaps the most empowering of all Stoic lessons. It doesn't claim that bad things won't happen or that you won't feel pain, but it asserts that the quality of your life, your inner peace, and your overall happiness are not dictated by what happens to you, but by what you tell yourself about what happens. Marcus Aurelius declared, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." This means your mind is not a passive recipient of external stimuli, it is an active interpreter. Two people can experience the exact same event, and one might be devastated, while the other sees an opportunity. The difference lies in their internal narrative, their chosen thoughts. By consciously choosing your thoughts, by scrutinizing your judgments, you gain sovereignty over your emotional landscape. Consider receiving criticism about your work. Your automatic thought might be, I'm a failure, leading to shame or anger. A Stoic would challenge that initial judgment. Is this criticism valid? If so, it's an opportunity to learn. If not, it's just someone else's opinion, which I cannot control and doesn't define my worth. By choosing to interpret it as a learning opportunity or an irrelevant opinion, you disarm the emotional sting. Faced with a financial setback, your immediate thought might be, "This is catastrophic. I'm doomed." The Stoic approach is to reframe. Money isn't indifferent. I still have my reason, my health, my ability to work. This is a challenge, but not the end of the world. What practical steps can I take now, and what attitude will I bring to solving this problem? Even when dealing with injustice, while outrage is natural, prolonged anger primarily harms you. A Stoic would acknowledge the injustice, but then choose how to respond, acting with virtue and reason, rather than allowing emotions to dictate a volatile response. Marcus Aurelius repeatedly emphasized the power of our ruling faculty, our mind, our reason. He believed that this faculty is our inner citadel, impervious to external attack unless we open its gates ourselves. Our thoughts are the keys to these gates. If we allow negative, irrational, or unhelpful thoughts to proliferate unchecked, we invite chaos into our inner fortress. But if we cultivate a disciplined approach to our inner dialogue, questioning assumptions, challenging irrational fears, and consciously focusing on what is true, good, and within our control, we build an unshakable foundation for tranquility and happiness. This isn't about superficial positive thinking. It's about rational thinking, aligning your judgments with reality and virtue, which then naturally leads to a more robust and resilient state of mind. For the next few days, become a keen observer of your own thoughts. Whenever you feel a negative emotion, anger, sadness, anxiety, pause and identify the specific thought or judgment that preceded it. Ask yourself, is this thought absolutely true? Is it helpful? Is there another way to interpret this situation that is more rational and empowering? By consistently engaging in this self-dialogue, you begin to reshape your internal narrative, replacing disempowering thoughts with those that cultivate strength and peace. 9. Practice gratitude and simplicity to find inner peace. In a world of endless striving and complex desires, Marcus Aurelius found profound peace in appreciating the simple gifts of life and reducing his attachments to external possessions and elaborate comforts. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Simplicity reduces the sources of anxiety and dissatisfaction. We are conditioned to always want more. A bigger house, a faster car, the latest gadget, more followers, a more impressive title. This endless pursuit of more creates a treadmill of dissatisfaction. No matter what we acquire, the goalpost always moves. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor with unimaginable wealth and power, explicitly warned against this trap. He understood that true contentment doesn't come from accumulating external things, but from appreciating what you already possess, and from recognizing that the most valuable things in life, reason, virtue, friendship, the natural world, are not commodities. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Simplicity, on the other hand, is about intentionally stripping away the superfluous, reducing clutter, physical and mental, and freeing yourself from the tyranny of excessive wants. It's about recognizing that true richness lies not in possessions, but in inner freedom and peace. Consider our material possessions. The constant urge to upgrade, to buy things we don't truly need, often leads to debt and mental overwhelm. Simplicity means questioning each purchase. Do I truly need this? Does it serve a genuine purpose? Does it add value or merely temporary pleasure? Gratitude means appreciating the functionality and utility of what you already own rather than constantly yearning for the new. Then there are our overloaded schedules, often dictating packed days, chasing every opportunity. This complexity leads to stress and burnout. Simplicity means learning to say no, prioritizing what truly matters, and carving out space for rest, reflection, and focused work. Gratitude means appreciating the quiet moments, the opportunity for genuine connection, and the freedom of uncluttered time. Even digital distractions, the endless stream of information and notifications, often obscure the simple joys of life. Simplicity encourages intentional digital detoxes, curating your online experience and focusing on real-world interactions and experiences. Gratitude means appreciating the peace of silence, the beauty of nature, and the depth of human connection that isn't mediated by a screen. Marcus saw how easily people were trapped by external show and fleeting pleasures. He found solace in reflecting on the commonality of human experience, the cycles of nature, and the vastness of the cosmos, which put his own desires and attachments into perspective. He taught himself to be content with little, not out of deprivation, but out of a clear-eyed understanding that true fulfillment arises from within, from living virtuously and appreciating the fundamental gifts of existence. Gratitude, for him, wasn't just a fleeting emotion. It was a deliberate practice, a daily exercise in acknowledging the good that is present right now. Simplicity was the practical manifestation of this understanding, shedding anything that distracts from his core purpose or ties him to external dependencies. Start a daily gratitude practice. Each morning or evening, list 3 specific things you are genuinely grateful for, no matter how small. Then look at one area of your life where complexity or excess causes you stress. Identify one thing you can simplify or let go of. This consistent practice of gratitude and simplification will begin to clear the mental fog and reveal the profound peace that comes from having enough and appreciating it deeply. Impactful closing. We've walked through these 9 ancient lessons, seeing how they cut through the noise of our modern world, offering not quick fixes, but profound shifts in perspective. From embracing challenges as growth opportunities to choosing your thoughts as the architects of your happiness, Marcus Aurelius doesn't ask us to be emotionless robots. He asks us to be intentional, to be responsible, to be adaptable, and to be profoundly human. He asks us to internalize what he so eloquently penned. Sickness is an impediment to the body, but not to the will, unless the will itself chooses. Lameness is an impediment to the leg, but not to the will. And this you may say on every occasion, if you apply to everything the principle. This is an impediment to something else, but not to me. Think about that. Not to me. Not to your inner self, your capacity for reason, your ability to choose your response. Life will constantly throw impediments at your body, your career, your relationships, your plans. But none of these can impede your will, your character, your essential self, unless you choose to let them, unless you give them that power. This isn't just philosophy to ponder. It's a living instruction manual for building an unshakable inner fortress in a chaotic world. It's a call to reclaim your sovereignty, to stop being a passenger in your own life, buffeted by external winds, and instead become the captain of your soul. So I leave you with this question. not as an academic exercise, but as a challenge to your very way of being. What is one thing you will stop letting impede your will starting today? What one choice will you make to reclaim your inner fortress? The path of Stoicism is a lifelong journey, a constant practice of presence, reason, and self-mastery. If this exploration has resonated with you, if it sparked a flicker of recognition or a renewed sense of purpose, consider liking this video. Share it with someone who might also be looking to build their own inner strength. And please, leave a comment below. What lesson from Marcus Aurelius hit home for you the most? How will you begin to apply it in your own life, starting now? Your reflections not only strengthen your own understanding, but also enrich this community we're building. Until next time, keep cultivating your inner strength, and remember, the power is always within you.